Hey guys, this is going to be another update on my guitar pedal board, and I know I did a video last year already, but some things have changed. Not everything, it's just like a little bit of a minor change. I think I refined my pedal board a little bit more, so I just want to go over the different pedals and the components that I have now. So yeah, it's just going to be a brief update. Well, I'll try to keep it as brief as I can for these types of videos. It's not going to be too brief, but anyways. Alright, we're going to start off with my cables. So I'm still using the Rattlesnake guitar cables. Actually, this is a really cool company. They're all like handmade in USA and stuff. And what's cool about it is I think there's only, it's like run by this guy called Hank Donovan. And yeah, he's a really cool guy. He actually sent me a personalized video message before he built this cable. So yeah, you guys can see it right here.
Hey Z-Tone, it's Hank with Rattlesnake Cable Company. How's it going? Just wanted to say thanks for your recent purchase of the Snakehead in Sage and the XLR cable. Those are actually first on deck to get worked on this morning, so keep a close eye for shipping notification. Just wanted to send you a quick video to say thanks. I really do appreciate you over here at Rattlesnake Cable Company, and hey, if you can, tell some friends out there. All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah, how cool is that, right? Like, how often do you see like the person who makes your audio components, in this case guitar components, like actually give you like a personalized video message, right? That's so cool. That's like Seymour Duncan, for example, like telling you, you know, that he's making your pickups or something like that. Like that's kind of cool. So yeah, these days I have my XLR cables and my guitar cables from Rattlesnake. I think they're a pretty good company, all made in the USA, high quality with, you know, high quality components and good customer service. So yeah, the other cables I use bullet cables for connecting my pedals to my amp right here. So the Rattlesnake cables for connecting my guitar to the pedal board, and then from the pedal board to the amp I use bullet cables. They specialize in coiled cables, which just look cooler. I guess that's the main reason why I get them. And they're pretty high quality. And then for the cables, the patch cables down here, and this cable right here that's going from the bottom row to the top row, these are Mogami cables. And I've used a bunch of cables in the past. I've used Lava cables as well. I've used George L cables. I've used Fender cables. I've used Elixir cables. Elixir Strings at one point made cables as well. So I've used all those different types of cables. But for now, I'm sticking to Rattlesnake, Bullet, and Mogami for now. So yeah, I mean, you know, you might say cables are cables, but for me, I want to stick to some pretty high quality cables in my guitar signal chain to make sure that you know, it's all about chasing tone. You know, like every last bit of the tone has to be, even if it's like, you know, a 0.1% increase or whatever in the tone, whatever. Like for audio purists and like guitar players and stuff like that, we get kind of crazy about these things. Like we will pay money just to squeeze that extra, you know, 0.1% out of tone out of our rig. So yeah, and cables do matter, right? That's that extra 0.1%. Same thing with guitar strings and yeah, all the different components in the guitar, you know, type of wood, like the type of lacquer finish, even like down to like some guitar, the type of glue used, you know, different pickups, all the different magnets and stuff, like all the wire around the pickups, like every little component matters for like really audio purists and enthusiasts and guitar players. It's like you gotta squeeze that last like 0.1% of tone out of your rig, right? So everything does kind of matter. Yeah, that's why I'm talking about the cables. Anyways, enough about the cables. Let's start out with the actual pedals. So all right, I'm going to go from the bottom row up to the top row. I'm going to start from right to left because this is how my guitar signal chain is. So my guitar right now goes into the Boss Wazacraft TU3W tuner. So this acts as basically a buffer, right? So it has two options here. Actually, this is why it's the Wazacraft model, is because you can choose between true bypass and buffered bypass. I usually put it on buffered bypass since it's at the beginning of the chain. It's nice to have true bypass, you know, for overall like your pedals in the chain, right? So it doesn't suck your tone. But at the beginning of your chain, at the end of your chain, it's better to have buffered bypass. Yeah, just to keep a little bit of your highs. Otherwise, it's gonna like you're gonna lose some highs if you just have all true bypass. So it's good to have some buffered pedals at the beginning and at the end, and then true bypass in between, right? So it doesn't color your tone, but you gotta have some buffered pedals at the beginning and end of your chain. So anyways, my buffered pedal at the beginning of my chain is the Boss TU3W. I've always used this as the beginning of my chain as the buffer. So and it's a tuner, you know, like what else can I say about it? It's pretty simple to use, and I prefer to use it over like any kind of app or whatever, just cause like, yeah, I don't know, as like guitar players we like to use pedals, right? Like, who wants to use like a phone app when you can use a pedal? So anyways, yeah, that's why I have it here. Alright, the second pedal in my chain is the Catalinbread Epoch Boost, which is a preamp buffer pedal. It's actually a boost pedal, and it's one of those boost pedals that colors your tone, but in a good way. So yeah, a lot of people call these like tone enhancing pedals. Just the pedals that you always leave on in your rig just to add that something extra in your tone. So a lot of people like to use the Xotic EP booster for this. There's also the Dunlop EP 101 I used before. There's the Chase Audio Secret Preamp. There's a whole bunch of these. I also was looking at the Greer Special Request. That one looked interesting to me. It uses a FET input. I think that's supposed to replicate the Dumble amplifier type of FET preamp input, which is supposed to add some extra secret sauce to your tone. So that one looked interesting to me. Yeah, Keeley Katana, right, is another very popular boost pedal. And I think the Benson Germanium Boost also looked interesting as well. So there's a bunch of different options for the secret sauce type of boost pedal here. A lot of them based on the Maestro Echoplex EP3. So that's it's actually well known for having a really nice preamp, which adds some nice color to your tone, and that's why I have the Epoch Boost here, which is supposed to duplicate the preamp section of the EP3. So anyways, just to give it a little bit of demonstration here, I'm using a Fender Stratocaster into a Milkman 1 Watt Plus, which is a Fender style amp. I think this is a tone that most people are familiar with. So yeah, Fender Strat into a Fender style amp, right? That's what I'm using right now on the neck pickup. A lot of people familiar with the sound. Right. Very clear, nice chimey tone. That's very typical of a Stratocaster. Single coil pickups, of course. So yeah, well, once you put on, I'm going to put the preamp here, the boost. Actually, if you put the preamp past, I think it is 2 o'clock, it starts to boost certain frequencies, but it doesn't actually boost the signal. But I think preamp around 2 o'clock would actually boost the signal. So it's interesting, and this is a separate boost knob, so let's check it out. So yeah, this is my signal without the boost, then with the boost. Right, obviously you can tell it colors the tone, and then it's supposed to like add some extra magic to your tone. You can this is without the boost. So without, yeah, I can add the preamp here. Let's turn the preamp up more. You can tell the preamp is adding something along the gain here. And then if I put the preamp up more, all the way to the end, it's not actually adding any more gain anymore. I think it's just boosting certain frequencies now. So yeah, it's interesting. It definitely adds some color to the tone. And then if I add more boost, then you're going to hear more boost. I think it has 22 decibels. All the way up. So yeah, I can even add some light. If you turn the boost all the way up, it actually is almost like a light overdrive. So it will overdrive the tone by a little bit, add some grit to the tone in which we put the boost all the way up. I usually leave both of these kind of around the 10 o'clock setting. I don't want to like go too much with it, but just enough to add that little bit of extra bite. So that's the Epoch Boost by Catalinbread. Next up I have, yeah, so this, I don't think this was on my pedal board in the last video. This one also was not on my pedal board in the last video. So this is the MXR Timmy pedal, which is a really, really cool pedal because it's an overdrive, but it's not like a high gain overdrive. It's a very transparent type of overdrive. I know like people use the term transparent overdrive a lot. There's a lot of them on the market. I think the other options I looked at comparable to the Timmy are probably the JHS Morning Glory and the Greer Lightspeed. I think those are the two other really transparent overdrives I was looking at. Greer Lightspeed, JHS Morning Glory, and MXR Timmy. I went with the MXR Timmy, and I really like it. I mean, this overdrive, like I'll show you guys, it doesn't really add a lot of grit, but it's wonderful. It's amazing for stacking. So as a stackable overdrive, the Timmy is like one of the best. So it's my normal tone, right? If I turn it on, and this is on. There's so many settings here, right? I just leave in the default clip mode and everything at noon here. You can tell it does make everything louder, but it's not like really different. It's not like a tube screamer. Doesn't really add a lot of mid-range or anything. Doesn't really color your tone all that much. See, leave it off. Turn it on. So it's not like too different or anything. And then I can like, yeah, there's so many like settings here. It's very versatile. Volume, treble, bass and gain. I just leave it here. And there's different settings here. Like clip is the default setting. I can put it in bass setting, I guess, which will increase the bass, like bass boost. The gain setting, I think we'll increase the gain, I guess. So yeah, bass, gain, volume, treble are the different settings here. Yeah, it's just very versatile. If I turn the gain up, maybe treble, bass, volume, turn all these up. So of course it can get a little bit of, you know, dirt like that. It can get dirty, but yeah, it doesn't get like, you know, super dirty or anything like that. It can get dirty, but it's not like a really high gain pedal or anything like that. So this is like a very light overdrive pedal. But what's great about the Timmy is that it's so good for stacking. I stack it with my Tumnus, which is a Klon type pedal, and my Euphoria, which is a D type pedal, all the time, and it's wonderful for that. So yeah, I love the MXR Timmy. It's just so versatile. So yeah, very light overdrive, but wonderful for stacking. Doesn't really color the tone too much. I love the Timmy. Again, haven't tried the JHS Morning Glory or the Greer Lightspeed, but so far I'm really liking the Timmy. Really glad that this was originally a boutique pedal that was maybe like not as hard as a Klon to get, but it was not mass manufactured. And the MXR took over and made it mass manufactured and made it easier to get. Alright, next up is the Wampler Tumnus, which is a clone type pedal. The Klon's a very famous pedal. It's used to add like a little bit of mid-range, not as much as a tube screamer, but it adds a little bit of mid-range to the tone, and it definitely adds more gain than the Timmy does. It's a higher gain pedal than the Timmy. So anyways, my normal signal, right, and just to compare, this is the Timmy, and then this is the Tumnus, and I'm going to set them all to noon actually. It says gain, volume, and treble. As you can tell, it gets more gain. It has more gain on tap than Timmy does. So yeah, it's like everything on noon, gain, volume, treble. up more. Just a little more. You can get pretty loud. You get really, actually has quite a bit of gain on tap. So yeah, the Klon or the Tumnus definitely has more gain on tap than the Timmy does. It's it definitely colors the tone more. Like it's not, a Klon is not a transparent type of pedal, despite the fact that some people say it is. It's really not a transparent type of pedal. It's actually pretty, it's not as like noticeable as a tube screamer, but still, it definitely colors the tone. Wampler Tumnus is a really good Klon clone. So if you want that Klon type of sound, it's definitely there and definitely has more gain on tap. By the way, with the Tumnus and the Timmy stacked, it sounds like this. Actually, I should go like clean signal, Timmy by itself, then Klon by itself, or the Tumnus by itself, and then both of them stacked together. Stack those two. Alright, next overdrive pedal I have is the Wampler Euphoria here. And I love this overdrive pedal because it's a very versatile overdrive pedal. It's probably the most, actually the Timmy's pretty versatile, but I think the Euphoria maybe even more so. Like it's a higher gain pedal than the Timmy is, and I think most people know the Euphoria for being able to do that Dumble type of tone. So it's really like a Dumble style pedal, although it's like a lot more than just that. So yeah, another thing I was thinking of like changing my pedal board to use pedals that use top mounts, like top mounted jacks. Right now all my pedals are using side mounted jacks, which is probably still the more common type of pedal, but there's still a lot of companies basically that used top mounted jacks, which would kind of mess up my board. So I was looking at some like companies that have pedals that I like Vertex FX. They have this steel string, they have the Ultraphonics, they have the what is it, Tone Secret. So yeah, Vertex has some cool pedals that I like. J Rocket has some cool pedals that I like the Dude, Lenny, the Archer, of course, Archer Clean. Those are all cool pedals, and Earthquaker devices as well. So yeah, you guys don't see any pedals from Earthquaker or Vertex or J Rocket on here because they use top mounted jacks. Seymour Duncan as well also use top mounted jacks. PRS pedals use top mounted jacks. So yeah, you don't see those type of pedals on here because like I kind of don't want to like mix and match top mounted jacks with side mounted jacks, but I am thinking about it though. If I change to top mounted, I have to basically change all my pedals to top mounted. So yeah, and still I think more pedals overall still use side mounted jacks. So that's something I was thinking about. Should I change to side mount or top mount? Anyways, what's weird about the Wampler stuff is that like Wampler stuff are usually side mounted jacks, but the Wampler Tumnus is side mounted. The Tumnus Deluxe is top mounted. That's really weird, right? Like I would have got the Tumnus Deluxe, but it's top mounted. I don't know why. It's like all of Wampler's other pedals are side mounted jacks, and then the Tumnus Deluxe for some reason it's the only one that's top mounted jacks. I'm not sure. Anyways, I just want to keep it consistent. But yeah, Wampler Euphoria. It's a Dumble type overdrive. The reason I've talked about that is because a lot of the Dumble type overdrive pedals I mentioned, like the Dude and yeah, J Rocket the Dude and the Vertex Steel String and the Vertex Ultraphonics, like those are top mounted D style pedals. And I don't know, the Mad Professor Symbol is probably the only one I can think of off the top of my head that's like a compact D style pedal that's side mounted, that has side mounted jacks. So Euphoria is interesting. I mean, it fits on my pedal board. It has side mounted jacks, which is in line with the rest of my pedal board, and it gives me the Dumble tone as well as the other tones as well. It's a very versatile pedal. By the way, having this tuner is also pretty convenient if I just want to quickly mute the signal. So, right now I don't want to hear any noise and stuff. So I just quickly press my tuner and it mutes the signal so I can talk better. Yeah, so what the Euphoria can do, a lot of stuff. So I leave it usually on the smooth setting, which is more the creamy, like Dumble Overdrive Special type of tone, but it also has an open setting and a crunch setting, which has a little bit more distortion on tap. Yeah, these other settings are probably more of a harder overdrive tone, like grittier overdrive compared to like a typical Dumble style pedal. So that's what makes the Euphoria a little bit more versatile compared to other D-style pedals. It doesn't just have that one creamy ODS type tone. It has these other more gritty tones as well. It has 4 controls: tone, volume, gain, and bass. And I've had this on my pedal board for a while now. It's just such a versatile pedal. Also, by the way, the Klon, the Tumnus, the reason why I chose this, it's an overall pretty nice Klon clone, and it's gotten pretty good reviews across the board online. I think everyone seems to like it. There's a lot of different Klon type pedals out there, right? The Way Huge Conspiracy Theory, MXR Sugar Drive, the J-Rocket Archer, and the Electro Harmonic Soul Food. That's what comes to mind for other Klon type pedals. But I think the Tumnus is generally regarded as one of the best. So yeah, I'm going to show you guys how the Euphoria sounds. So once again, this is my clean tone. I'm going to show you the smooth setting first. Now this bass actually adds bass. It's not like how much bass that you have in your signal. It's actually how much bass is added. So I'm going to keep that down there. I could put it in more if I want to add more bass, but okay. And then gain I'll put in the middle here. So this is smooth setting. This smooth setting, which is supposed to be more reminiscent of the Dumble ODS type of tone. A lot of pedals try to copy that. So yeah, I could add more bass and you guys can hear this. It gets kind of muddy though. Yeah, it gets a little bit too much. It's kind of muddy, so I'll leave the bass a little bit down here. So yeah, this pedal definitely has a lot of gain on tap. Maybe even more so than the Tumnus does. So I can put the gain up, tone up, volume up. It's pretty loud. Yeah, it gets pretty loud actually. So I think this actually has the most gain on tap out of all my overdrive pedals. So that's a smooth setting. The open setting sounds like this. Setting sounds has a little bit more bite, a little bit less creamy than the smooth setting, a little bit more bite, and then finally the crunch setting, which is what the name suggests, is crunchy. That's the crunch setting. I mean, it just adds crunch. Compared to the smooth setting, right? Smooth sounds more smooth, sounds more creamy. The crunch tone sounds more crunchy. So yeah, it is what it is. The smooth, the open tone is kind of in between. Also, the Euphoria is really great for stacking as well because it is actually a transparent type of overdrive, so it doesn't color the tone too much. It does color it more than the Timmy does, I noticed, but it is relatively transparent, so it still tries to call itself a transparent overdrive. So if I stack the Timmy on top of it, it actually sounds really nice. bars on open, I can go to smooth. Timmy plus Euphoria is great. It takes that creamy overdrive from the Euphoria and adds a little bit more bite to it. It still keeps the creaminess of the overdrive, so that's awesome. And then the Euphoria plus the Tumness can be stacked. It's just, yeah, this one's gonna be higher gain. I personally prefer the Timmy plus the Euphoria better, but the Tumness and Euphoria are definitely my highest gain combination for stacking overdrives. Yep, definitely these are two of my highest gain pedals here, the Euphoria plus the Tumness. But anyways, Euphoria is a great overdrive, it's so versatile. And then next is the Boss DM2W delay. This is an analog delay. I've gone back and forth between this pedal, thinking about taking it out, putting it in the chain, and removing it from the chain. I'm not sure yet. I went through a lot of different echoes and delays before. I've gone through echoes like the Keeley Magnetic Echo, the Catalinbread Bella Epoch, and I've gone through analog delays like the Boss DM2W here, also the BBE 2-timer. So yeah, it's interesting because for me, I either choose to use reverb or delay, one of those two. I don't actually maybe need to have both. They're like similar yet different, right? Like reverb to me is like, it's like delay, but with like a shorter delay, basically. So a delay is like maybe it's more, you can adjust it more and then obviously have it repeat more than the reverb. Now reverb is almost like a shorter delay. It's a little bit different too. It's got more ambience. So I don't know. I don't actually use the DM2W all that much, but this is the Wazacraft version. So it actually has two modes: the standard mode and the custom mode. So on the standard mode, to go to repeat rate, like standard, I just leave it like on maybe like 10 o'clock usually. There's a little bit of slapback delay here, and that's how I usually use this delay. So I don't want to be like too crazy with it, but you could adjust it, and obviously you can hear it more if I turn it off. And the DM2W is a dark sounding delay, which is fine. I actually like the delay sound of this, compared to like say an MXR carbon copy or a way huge Octopus, which are a little bit more lighter, I think, sounding, or brighter sounding, I should say. So yeah, the DM2W is a great sounding analog delay. I love it, but I just don't really use it all that often. Like, I actually really never even use it on this setting. Like, if I can turn it up more, it just gets too crazy, right? Actually, this is a standard setting, right? Can increase the intensity here. Yeah, I mean, standard is actually not too intense. It begins to sound a little bit metallic now. It's like it's sounding a bit metallic now. But if I change it to the custom setting, then it's gonna get crazy. Now, I really don't use this setting all that much. Yeah, it's definitely increases the time for the delay. The delay time is increased on the custom setting. And once I increase the settings, you guys can hear how crazy the custom setting gets. and I can tune it up more. Let's see. Yeah, it gets too crazy. It gets too crazy if you turn it off. Yeah, see, like I really never have any use for that. It's like, it's too crazy for me. I'm not playing any kind of crazy stuff, progressive rock or something. Yeah, I'm not sure when I would ever use that. So I think the delay is, my DM2W is kind of underutilized. So yeah, thinking about keeping it on my pedalboard or not. I don't think I utilize it enough. Next up is my Xotic SP compressor. I've had this on my pedalboard for a very long time. It's just a simple compressor that just does its job. I mean, it's got two knobs, volume and blend. By the way, the delay had three knobs: repeat rate, the delay time, and then the intensity. Yeah, and then my Xotic, yeah, compressor has volume and blend, and it has high, low, and mid. And these are like different toggle settings, I guess, for the different frequencies. So, anyways, it just does its job. So I guess I've had it on my board for ever since I bought it, which is like maybe 6 years ago. I've had this like on my board for about 6 years. It's quite a long time. It just does its job. It's a compressor. I use this all the time in order to actually lower my signal. Because if I turn off all these gains and stuff, all these overdrives, like the Timmy, Euphoria, the Tumnus, like, yeah, it ends up being like a little bit too loud, right, for bedroom settings. So I just use the compressor to limit the amount of volume, but still have the tone, right? So that's what I mainly use my compressor for. It's really useful, just to overall, kind of like a master mixer on a console. Yeah, so for example, yeah, I put on my Timmy and my Euphoria. It's like, oh, that's so loud, right? If I don't have the compressor on, it's so loud, right? If I use the compressor, then I can actually lower the volume. I can lower the volume overall, but still have the same kind of gain, right? So that's really what I use the compressor for. It's kind of like a master volume control on a mixer. In the high setting, that's what you heard. In the low settings, like this, I can't tell like a huge difference. There is like a big difference. Certain frequencies, I think. Low setting, mid setting right here. The compressor will also, you know, even out the dynamics that you're playing. So it's just useful in general. Oh, it's just not, let's not put that on. Yeah. So yeah, high setting right here. Then low setting. Mid setting right here. Slightly different. I can't tell too much. Yeah, I usually will, I don't know, let's leave it in high or something. So yeah, just useful little pedal to have. Always kept it on my board because it's small, doesn't take up much space, and it's very useful. And I always use it, actually. Pretty much every time I play, I use the Xotic compressor, the SP compressor. And the design of the Xotic compressor is based on the old Ross compressors from the 1970s, which I think a lot of compressors are based on. And then we have the Keeley Omni Reverb. This is a simple reverb. That's why I like it. It only has two knobs, two controls, dwell and level, and 3 different settings, which are pretty much the most popular reverbs. The room reverb, spring reverb, and plate reverb. Those are probably the 3 I care the most about. So yeah, like I said with the delay, I actually use reverb more than delay, so I'm thinking about taking the delay out of the chain and just keeping the reverb. So yeah, this is with reverb. I usually just tend to send it to a little bit low, so it's not like too crazy. guys are hearing spring reverb right now. And then if I turn it up, you guys can hear it even better, but it's too crazy. So yeah, I usually don't turn it up too high, but you guys can hear exactly it's this really spring reverb. So you can hear the springs kind of bouncing around. Imaginary spring tank. Alright, and then there's a room reverb. This is room reverb. Use this one a lot. It's really not too intrusive at all. Very subtle effect. The room reverb is very subtle. I like it because it's so subtle, but you'll notice if it's off. And then if I turn it up, concert hall now. Empty concert hall. So that's the room reverb. I use that one the most. And then plate reverb, which is also nice. It's what they use in the studios. Off the bat. Yeah, the plate in the room in the spring reverb are probably a little bit more subtle, but the plate reverb is probably more noticeable. I'm trying to emulate like a big plate, you know, sheet of metal, you know. If I turn it up, that's not even turned up. Turn it up. Plate reverb is actually really kind of noticeable, most noticeable out of these. But yeah, it's a very basic reverb pedal, and I love having reverb, so I use this pedal all the time. So yeah, very useful pedal, the Omni Reverb. Just very simple to use, provides the three most basic, and the popular reverb effects. Alright, so the Boss RC5 is probably my single most used pedal on here because it's the one I use to practice the most. It's just, you put in a loop on it, or you can record your own loops on it, and then you just jam along. And that's what I do in my YouTube videos, is I just jam along to a backing track or something I created. So yeah, I use the RC5 the most. I've owned previous loop stations before. I've owned the RC2, the RC3. The RC5 overall an improvement on the previous ones. It gives you more memory. So the RC2 is very limited. I think only stored like 7 different loops. RC3 lets you store some different loops from your computer and stuff like that, but the memory was limited. Then now the RC5 I can store more of my tracks on here. It's not as limited in memory, so that's good. And then I have the same rhythm, you know, as a built-in drum loop here. So it's nice as a built-in drum loop and tap tempo. All that is pretty useful. The one thing I don't like about the RC5 is whenever I change to like a different setting, it always resets the loop level. So it's always resetting to 100, and 100 is just way too loud. I'm not going to play it for you guys because it's way too loud. Like, I always have to turn it down to about loop level 2. Yeah, so that tells you guys how loud it, like 100 is. If I play 100, it's going to blow your ears off. So first of all, the loop level I set at 100 is way too high, it's way too loud. And secondly, whenever I change to a different slot in the memory, it always resets the loop level, so I got to change it back to like a lower loop level. So I don't like that. That's the one thing I don't like about the RC5. I don't know why it does that. Why is the loop level so loud, and why do I have to like why does it reset every time I change to a different slot, right? I change to different backing tracks all the time, but I don't want to have to reset the loop level every time just to be able to like keep myself from being deaf, you know? So this is loop level 2, right? I'm just telling you guys, this is loop level 2 right now. I usually keep it on loop level 2. It's like a decent volume, but woo, I can change to loop level 3 and it's still gonna be like fairly loud. So you guys can imagine just how loud loop level 100 is if this is loop level 2, right? Yeah. And this is loop level 10. So yeah, loop level 10 is already pretty dang loud. Yeah, I just can't imagine. Like, just stop it and then you gotta adjust it all the way back down again. Yeah. Okay. This is loop level 10. Already too loud. Already too loud. Loop level 5 is already still loud. So I just keep it on 2. This is the loop level 2. Like the volume of the loop is on 2 right now. So you guys can just tell how loud this thing gets. Like already on 2, it's very loud enough. I keep it on 2, but at 5, it's too loud. Like I can't put it anywhere beyond like 5. Like loop level 5 is already too loud. So I don't know what Boss is doing. Why did they make it so loud? I don't know. And I have to adjust it every time I change the track. That's annoying. But otherwise, probably the pedal I use the most out of all of these. It's just very, very useful with jamming background tracks. Hook it up to my computer, right? It's got USB-B input here. I can hook it up to my computer. I can put in, there's a MIDI input and output here. Like, yeah, it's very useful for practicing, and really I play at home, so it's really extremely useful for me. Probably the most useful pedal out of all these on my board. So yeah, the RC5, probably the most important pedal on my pedal board. If I were to take one pedal with me on a desert island, this would be the one, because it's the one I would be able to jam with myself. All the other ones are nice, but this one I can really create my own tracks and yeah, explore my creativity with it. Alright, there's one other pedal not on this board, but it is the BBE Benoit. This is a wah pedal made by BBE, who makes a lot of great affordable pedals. I've had this wah for many years now. I think at least 5-6 years. Yeah, it's not on my board because it's pretty big, as you can see, and it's just a pain to hook up, so I'm not gonna show it to you guys. But you guys can hear in some of my songs that require wah. Yeah, generally I don't use the wah pedal that much. On some songs it's like really kind of necessary to have it, like a lot of Jimi Hendrix songs, some Steve Vai songs, Maggot Brain, you know, those kind of songs need to have a wah, but most of the time I don't really use it that much. But for those songs that need it, like, you have to have it, right? So there's really no replacement for it. So yeah, it's a big pedal. I don't really use it much. It's not on my board, but have to have a wah, and this is a pretty good one. It's really trying to be like the 1960s Vox Clyde McCoy wah, so it has a halo inductor, you know, vintage spec, and it's got this harmony Q control, which, yeah, will change the tone of the wah a little bit, be more like nasally, a little bit more bright, or if you want it more cracky, you can, yeah, change the settings here. Overall, it's a very nice wah. It's not that expensive. It sounds really nice. And yeah, I just haven't, I guess I could look for like a smaller wah. There's some mini wahs out there. I think it's like a mini Hendrix wah or something. Dunlop sells like mini Crybabies and stuff. And then there's like boutique wahs like the T-Wah and the Xotic wah, the full tone wahs. Like, yeah, those are more boutique, but you know, I'm fine with this one. Yeah, the BBE wah, it's good enough for me, and I don't really use wahs that much, but this is a good enough wah for me. So yeah, that's it. Anyways, guys, that's my pedal board as of late 2022, and yeah, if you guys are guitar players or anything, let me know in the comments section below what you guys think of my pedal board. But overall, I think this is a little bit more refined. Again, the only thing I might want to change is, like, I might want to change to top mounted jacks on some of my pedals, because I want to be able to use some top mount pedals. But yeah, if I do that, I don't really want to mix it too much. So right now it's all side jack mounts, because these are probably the more popular ones. But yeah, that also means I can't have any Earthquaker pedals, Seymour Duncan, Vertex, J-Rocket, because yeah, they're all top mounted. So yeah, no top mounted pedals, but I might think about getting some if I do have to change out my pedal board, basically, if I do that. But yeah, I'm just thinking about it. And yeah, this delay, I might take it out. and just keep the reverb because I don't really use the delay much. But otherwise, I think this is a fairly refined pedal board to the point where I really generally like all these pedals. I don't really have any issues with any of them or doubts about any of them. I think these are really nice pedals for me. So, and I don't have my Max on. You guys notice I don't have my Max on TOD9 anymore. And I mean, the Tube Screamer sound is, a lot of people love the Tube Screamer sound, and maybe they need a Tube Screamer on their board. For me, I don't. I actually find the Klon sound like it's just a better version of the Tube Screamer. It's not as mid-range heavy, but to me it'll get me the same, like it'll get me a lot of gain and it'll get me a little bit of mid-range if I want it to. And really I just prefer the Klon sound to the Tube Screamer sound. So I just didn't end up liking my Max on TOD9 as much as the Tumnus. So yeah, and I didn't really end up using my Max on that much actually. I just didn't end up using, there's nothing on Max on, it's a great company, but I just don't like use the Tube Screamer sound that much. So yeah, that's why there's no Tube Screamer on my board. Like, I just prefer to have the Klon sound instead of the Tube Screamer sound for the mid-range stuff. And then I just prefer to have more transparent overdrives, more versatile overdrives for my other overdrives. So okay, so I actually got two new pedals, so I'm just going to go over them now. So this is the Tube Steader Lightkeeper. It is a tube-driven overdrive, and it's meant to emulate or kind of try to get the sound of the clean channel of the Dumble Overdrive Special, which is a very renowned, boutique tube amp. And I guess the whole vibe is sort of like trying to get the touch-sensitive, dynamic type of clean-driven sound. So yeah, it has a little bit of grit, and it can get some grit. But I think what this pedal is the best for is for stacking with other overdrives, and really has replaced my MXR Timmy. So you don't see my Timmy on here anymore because it's pretty much replaced it as I mean, the Timmy was already really good, right? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Timmy, but just this pedal, it's really versatile and stacks so well with other pedals, so it pretty much replaced my Timmy in that aspect. And really has two foot switches here. One of them is just turning the pedal on like this, and basically this will add a little bit of a boost. So this already adds a boost, right? This the Epoch boost, but then this will add a little bit of like mild overdriven tone to it, not too much, right? So this is already. This is the Epoch boost on, right? If I turn this one on, the Lightkeeper, so pretty much almost like the same effect. Really, this one adds a little bit of a clean boost as well. Of course, you can shape this one a little bit more just to add a little bit more gain, for example, or a little bit more volume. So yeah, you can get pretty loud actually if you turn it up. By default, I use it almost like if you stack it with Epoch boost. Right, adds a little bit of light grit if you can change it, turn the gain up. But this other foot switch, when you turn it on, it adds another boost, and it adds more mids as well. So if you turn this on, it makes a noticeable difference, I think. You can see there's more of a mid boost now, it's darker versus turning it off. So yeah, this definitely gives it more punch and more weight. Makes the tone fatter, right? It also has a 3-tone EQ here, a 3-band EQ here. So it's a really versatile overdrive. And yeah, I had to basically turn on the compressor to stack it. But yeah, if you stack it, then I usually stack it with either my Tumnus or my Euphoria, depending on what kind of tone I want. But let's say I stack it with the Euphoria, then now you get some nice stacking overtones now. The boost in the mids. There's some grit right here. Really, now you get kind of that, that touch-sensitive, overdriven Dumble tone, basically, that you would associate with a Dumble Overdrive Special. So yeah, I really like this. This pedal is definitely my most expensive pedal on here. It's $250, quite expensive. And yeah, it's Class A, is powered by one full-size 12AX7 tube right here. And yeah, just you get that nice, smooth, creamy, overdriven tone when you stack it, right? Nice, very nice. And then that's, you can stack it with the tumness, right? You get a different type of tone here. Right, you get that typical darker sounding tone of that tumness. So a very different type of tone, but it just enhances everything still, right? In a different way. So that's what I really like about the Lightkeeper, is that as a tones, like overdrive stacking pedal, really, really nice. As a clean boost and as a, you know, kind of a light overdrive, it works really well too. But then it really gets magical when you stack it with other overdrive pedals and just really enhances everything, right? It's just oops, I don't need this one anymore. Anyway, I love the tone of this pedal. It's very, very versatile. So yeah, that was Tube Statter Lightkeeper. It's hand built in Canada, actually. Definitely the biggest pedal on this board and also the most expensive. And yeah, it needs its own special AC adapter as well, because these tube powered pedals, you know, need more voltage and everything. All right, and the second new pedal on my board is the Fender Marine Layer Reverb, which has basically replaced my Keeley Omni Reverb. And yeah, basically I compared this one to the Keeley and to the Boss Reverb I had as well. This one just won out because it's a more natural sounding reverb to my ears. It's very subtle, but it's also very natural sounding. So it's turned on, has three effects, three different reverb effects: hall, room, and special. So the hall effect is like this. I mean, it's a very subtle effect, but it's there, right? You would definitely notice it if it wasn't. So yeah, if I turn it off, and if I turn it on, it's got two variations each per reverb actually. So yeah, very, very rich reverb and subtle. That's what I like about it. I just want my reverbs to be kind of subtle. Like, it's there, it's noticeable, but it's subtle. And this is a room reverb right here. Yeah, it's definitely there, right? When you listen for it, it's there, but it's there in a subtle way, which I really like. And then the special one. Variation 2. Yeah, so I just really like how subtle it is. And actually, if I really want it to be, you know, more prominent, I can turn it up. And this one, I believe the variation, actually the special type, I think has a bit of shimmer to it. Maybe it's only the second variation. This one has shimmer in it, I believe. I need to turn up the pre-delay actually. There's a shimmer. So yeah. it has it. Okay. Nice. Okay. So yeah, you can get a bit of shimmer on the second variation of the special type. But anyways, I usually leave it on room, I would say. I mean, variation 1 or 2, either of these are pretty good. So yeah, I really love this reverb. It's much more natural, organic sounding compared to my Keeley Omni reverb I had before. And yeah, that's just what I like about it. It's very subtle and very natural sounding. And yeah, the light keeper, of course, very versatile overdrive. So that is it. That is my new pedal board now. So it is actually fewer pedals than before, but yeah, I would say that I kind of consolidated a bunch of my effects. Like the delay, I don't think I actually used that much. So I took out the delay, replaced my Timmy, replaced my reverb, and now it's pretty much down to the effects that I use the most, right? Which is just kind of cutting it down to the necessities, I would say. So yeah, that is pretty much it for my pedal board. Yeah, that's it. Let me know if you guys have any questions about any of the effects I have, any of the new effects. And yeah, as always, yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And thanks for watching.